Okay, I want to show you number 20 now. The first step whenever you factor is always to look for a common factor. And if you look at this, 2 goes into all of these. So it's almost like I'm dividing everything by 2. Alright, and this 2 is going to pull out front. And I just rewrite this in a little bit simpler form. Then since a is not equal to 1, okay, and I can't factor it out anymore, I'm going to use the method, the slide and divide factoring method, these 7 steps. So you could read through them, but the first thing is to multiply a times c. We're going to factor it like normal, then we're going to do that divide step, reduce our fractions, and then the denominator goes with x and the numerator stays put. Then we got to solve for x. So when I do 5 times 40, I get 200, and those need to multiply to get b, which is now negative 33. Okay, so start listing my factors, and I'm not really worried about positive and negatives right at this point. 4 times 50, we got 50 times 4, and then 8 times 25. And I know that I need a positive when I multiply, and I need a negative when I add. So if you think about it, both of these have to be negative. So the first one, we know it doesn't work. Second one, this one will get negative 54, so I'm getting closer. This is negative 45 because both of these would be negative. But when you look at this one, you'll get negative 33. So there's the factors that we need. So I'm going to rewrite this as p minus 8 and p minus 25. Okay, my next step is to divide by a. And a, after we factored out the 2 was 5. So now I'm going to divide both terms by 5. Now this one here, 8/5, cannot be reduced. So we'll just rewrite that one. This one here, 25 divided by 5, is just 5. So if it reduces down to a whole number, just write it like that. If you cannot reduce it the whole way, this 5 is going to go with the p, the 8 is going to stay put. And a great way to check this to see if I factored correctly is to FOIL back out. So the first, so you'd have 5p squared, and then 5p times negative 5 is negative 25p. Negative 8 times p is negative 8p. And then negative 8 times negative 5 is plus 40. And when I put these two together, the middle terms is really where you need to check. That makes negative 33p. That's what I wanted. So that's a great way to check to see if you're on the right track. Alright, last step is to solve each part by setting it equal to 0. This one, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I'll have 5p equals 8, and then I would divide both sides by 5 to get 8/5. This one here is a lot easier. Just add 5 to both sides, and p equals 5. And again, like I showed you in the other video, you could always plug in your answer to see if it's right. So we'll plug in this one, it's a little bit easier, but 10 times 5 squared minus 66 times 5 plus 80, that should equal 0 when I plug it into my calculator. So 10 times 5 squared minus 66 times 5 plus 80. Enter. I get 0. So I know for a fact that 5 is one of my answers. I could do the same thing with 8/5 to check my work.